Hello everybody, I'm Baltmatrix, and today we are taking a look at a superior tow truck. Today we are taking a look at Transformers Rise of the Beast Studio Series Battletrap. Now I'm going to start this review off with tow truck mode, because this figure is a mixed bag. And I really hate using that term, but it's the only wording I can think of that would describe this figure appropriately. Truck mode is pretty good. It is very compact, but I do like it. Compared with the deluxe tow truck, we can see that, well, I mean, it is a little bit bigger. Not much, though. Battletrap does have the exposed robot hand syndrome in this mode. It's forgivable given the weirdness of the transformation, and the transformation is actually pretty good, except for one thing, and that is getting the front roof and the very front of the truck's hood into place. Especially when you try to push it back and it doesn't feel like it's lining up correctly until you just force it into place, and every time I do, I think, oh god, this is gonna break. The other thing I've noticed is after transforming it, the figure's kind of cattywampus a little bit. I have to always pick it up and move and shift it in order for it to, well, sit on all four tires, for example. Another issue in the back is if you don't have this, I guess you would call it a Morning Star or mace, pegged in, and you unpeg it, the back hook of the tow truck has a tendency to split in half very easily. Like I'll just pick it up and it's split apart, and then you gotta futz with it and get it back together, and it's just a pain. And unfortunately, as a tow truck, it doesn't really work. You can't pull a hoist here and actually tow anything. So kind of points off for that. Other spots of the robot mode that are poking out are down here. These are the feet of the robot mode. And these connector bits that are hanging off the side. They're not really robot mode, but they are connector bits. And then, well, there's a head under there, but thankfully you can't see it much. And no, you can't stick the head up out of the center. You just can't. I like the transformation for Battletrap. To start off with, come to the sides and unpeg the sides of each of the sides of the vehicle mode and fold them out. Then take the area behind the wheel and flip it up. And then you could fold the foot up, do that on the other side, and then straighten the legs out. And then come to the front of the vehicle mode and grab the grill and kind of pull it up, though it doesn't always work. So grab the back and pull that up, and that just makes a snapping sound when you pull it up that doesn't sound real good. So here we can see what is and isn't clear plastic. This is a little weird because, yes, there's clear plastic in here, but it's also sitting underneath regular molded plastic, so it's not painted. So that is good, but still, when you transform it back into truck mode, this does not feel good. I feel like I'm having to push way too hard to get that down. And while we're here, we can fold up the grill. So then pull the canopy all the way forward, take the arms and point them straight up, and then come inside and pull out these panels, which will flip the arms and shoulders around. And those arms and shoulders, there's a little peg hole right there that pegs into these little struts coming off the top of the hips. And then fold these around and snap them into place. One word of warning. When you go to transform it, push it forward and then unpeg it like that, because if you try to just pull it back, you'll break something. Trust me. All right, stand the figure up, turn the torso around 360, split the legs apart, and then come to the under thighs and flip them around. Yeah, you could totally do a Gerwalk mode here, but I'm not going to bother. Reach underneath and pull out the robot head, and then flip the robot head all the way forward like that. Grab the entire front and pull that shoulder down. Grab this side and pull that shoulder down. Take the backpack and turn it around. Reach up to the light bars and pull them forward to unpeg them, and then push them in. And then bring this whole backpack section in, and there are pegs that will peg into place that don't always line up and leave me cursing for several minutes because they're supposed to line up, but they just don't. Take the head section and fold the chest forward, and then flip the head back, and there's a little peg stump that the bottom of the head will peg into, and it's kind of loose. Take the arms, fold them down, flip up the spikes behind the shoulders, flip the hitch around, and flip that whole section underneath the arm. And yeah, he's got a bit of kibble sticking out under his armpits, but that's fine. And here we have Battletrap in robot mode, and I love the way this thing looks. This just looks so badass. It looks evil, it looks gnarly, and it works. It works incredibly well. I can easily see this getting repainted into an Autobot, though. I love the orange, I love the gunmetal, I love the silver. I don't think we've ever gotten a figure painted quite like this before. I really do love the way this thing looks. The head sculpt is also wonderful. You've got the colors continuing, and then the eyes look... Well, I can't tell where the eyes are. I really can't. I keep looking. I think it's those red dots there, but I can never tell. The sculpting on the head is great. The paint is great. It's a solid head sculpt, though it does feel a bit tiny for the body, which is odd. In terms of design and molding, I really don't care for the chunk hanging off the forearm. It's not the end of the world. You can move it and pose it and just get it out of the way, so you can deal with it. What I really hate, though, is, well, to be quite honest, this figure doesn't feel good. And before we talk about how Battletrap feels, let's get his little mace in here. It's the same thing that you would do with, what was it, Legacy Bulkhead. You just open the mace, plug it into his hand, and close it up on the other side, and he's going to punch you badly. Well, he's going to punch you and you're going to feel bad. Posability-wise, head is on a ball joint. There is a swivel in the shoulder, a hinge, and then there is an insanely tight swivel just in the upper bicep. Bends at the elbow, no fist articulation. Torso swivel for the transformation that when you do it, you end up unpegging the back, so just be aware of that. Can kick forward, can kick back, can kick out at 90 degrees. The beautifulest of spreads. Thigh can swivel. Bend at the knee is over 90 degrees. There is a foot rocker for backwards movement for the transformation, and then there is a rocker for side to side. And yeah, you saw it earlier. He can bend real far on those legs. There's a flight stand peg hole located in his keister, but again, you have to unpeg the backpack in order to get under there. Size-wise, for a Voyager class, it's a little bit on the small size. Here is Leader class Optimus Prime, Voyager class Studio Series Prime, I don't remember what class Blitzwing, Siege Prime, AOE Voyager Prime, Voyager Legacy Tarn, and Voyager Siege Soundwave. Even though I like this figure a lot, there are some problems with it. As far as I can tell, there are a couple of different types of plastic that assemble this figure, and one of those types is quite problematic. For once, I don't have any QC issues with the figure, but there is a materials issue. The plastic that I'm going to talk about next, I think, is a major materials issue. But the plastic itself that makes up these shoulder panels, those lower leg panels, and a couple of other spots on the figure are all very odd. They don't feel like the rest of the figure. The orange plastic and this darker plastic all feel good. They feel solid. But this lighter gunmetal plastic, there is a lightness to it and a slickness to it that really doesn't feel good. There are other places that this plastic is. It makes up the bulk of the chest bulk of the plastic that holds the chest together, and parts of the arms. And that slickness creates very, very, well, let's just say there's a lot of fluid motion here. There is enough friction to keep the arms up, but barely enough friction to actually be able to hold any of other figures up. See? Now, if this was a different type of plastic, I'm sure those swivels would be much tighter. Also, be sure to get subscribed for when I review Freezer. He's up next, and oh boy, we're going to be getting into him all right. That plastic makes the figure feel really strange in the hand. It's almost as if it's been designed with QC issues in mind. Don't get me wrong. I love the look. The transformation is fun. The alt mode doesn't hold together all that well because, again, the things that are holding it in are these bits of soft plastic. And just stuff feels off when you're holding it in the hand. I can't really quantify it any more than that. When I hold Earthrise Prime, whether that's the Shattered Glass version or the original version, or when I hold Siege Prime, both of these figures have a something, an indescribable something to them that makes them feel more solid, more cohesive than Battletrap does. And I'm really struggling to articulate what that is, other than I don't think the plastic is right. Even some of the older Studio Series figures, and I'm not talking that much older, all feel different. It's very weird to say that because I don't think there's that much difference between Battletrap and Blitzwing here, but there is something about the plastic that Battletrap is made out of that does not feel right. And I can't put my finger on it. Maybe this guy is made of a completely different plastic than any of these other Studio Series figures. Or maybe I'm just crazy. There's a lot of texturing, a lot of molding, and a lot of good stuff about Battletrap, but it's these specific pieces of plastic that are found in these panels that are made to move, and even the feet, that somehow sully the figure. And quite frankly, I am really struggling on how to better articulate this. A lot of folks online have said that it is not a good figure. I disagree, but I also agree that something feels wrong about this guy. So folks, let me know what you think of Battletrap down in the comments. For those of you that have gotten a hold of this figure, tell me what you think. I'm really curious to see if any of you out there are going through the same mental gymnastics that I'm going through to try and explain what just feels weird about this thing. Now, it's not to say it's a bad figure. Sure, it has flaws, but I love the robot mode. The transformation is fun, and the vehicle mode is okay. I think we've had better tow trucks in the past. I'm looking at you, Long Arm, from the original movie. It's still my favorite tow truck transformer. I love the coloring of this guy. I don't think we have enough orange transformers. I love the overall look of it. It's just weird, and not in that good fun way. Alright folks, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I have been Baltmatrix, and I will catch you all next time.